And hello, good timers! So today I have decided to do a recipe before being challenged by Drew, and afterwards I'm going to challenge Drew to recreate my recipe. So, everybody loved me and Drew's balls, and so I decided to do balls for breakfast. That's right, today is going to be a breakfast recipe, and these are going to be keto sausage balls. So guys, this recipe is kind of a takeoff on what you would make sausage balls in with Bisquick usually, but obviously Bisquick has got lots of flour and other kinds of strange stuff in it, so we're doing a keto version today, and this is the ingredients we're going to be using: some almond flour, salt, eggs, some butter, sour cream, a little bit of baking powder, and then lots of sharp cheddar cheese. So we're going to get this started by dicing up the chorizo and getting that cooked first. And you can use any kind of sausage you want, or any kind of meat actually. Ham would be great, bacon would be great, regular breakfast sausage. Today I just decided to use chorizo because I have it readily available here on hand. It's thawed, and so I thought, why not? So here we go. Alright, so first things first is just to dice this sausage up, and after I dice it up, I'm going to go ahead and cook it. It actually is pre-cooked, but I do want to get a little bit of crispiness and some of the flavors out of it, so we're just going to dice this up, and I'm going to be using my favorite knife. A couple of you have commented on this knife, saying how it looks a bit like a machete, I should say. And it is quite large, I will give you that, but everything I handle is usually pretty big, so I don't mind it at all. Got this knife back when I was in college, almost 26 years ago now, I guess. And it obviously has treated me very well because I'm still using it. I only have to sharpen it about once every 6 or 7 months, so it stays nice and sharp as well. But it has certainly gotten lots of usage out of it. So we're going to finish cutting up this sausage here, and then we'll continue on. Alright, so those of you that may not be familiar with chorizo sausage, it is kind of a Spanish sausage, and it is kind of a bright red, but it's not overly spicy. It has a little bit of a kick, but most of that red color comes from the paprika in it, and a little bit of chili powder that's there as well. But it is definitely a flavorful sausage, so you're not going to add much else to this recipe if you're using chorizo. If you're using a different, milder kind of sausage, you might want to add some green onions or scallions, or maybe some salsa to it or something like that if you want a little bit of extra flavor. But the chorizo sausage has lots of flavor, so we're not going to worry about that too much. Alright, so while that sausage is cooking, I'm going to go ahead and shred up this cheddar cheese. Now, Vegas Babe wants me to put a little keto tips in all of my cooking vlogs. So, Vegas Babe, my first tip for keto is use whole cheese. Alright, don't use that shredded stuff, because that shredded stuff contains carbs, because it uses cornstarch to actually prevent it from sticking together in the bag. So, go ahead and shred your own cheese, and you won't have to worry about any carbs being in there. We're going to shred about 2 cups or so of this sharp cheddar. You definitely want this to be a sharper cheese so you get the flavor of it here in the biscuits. It was done cooking. It's cooling over beside me now, and we're just going to start with our dry ingredients now, which is simply 1 1/3 cups of almond flour, just about 1/4 of a teaspoon of baking powder, and just a pinch of sea salt. So that's just going to go into there. And then I'm going to have my assistant come out here and join me, and she's going to crack us 4 eggs. And we're also going to melt I think 1 stick of butter here to go in this as well. We're going to melt the butter here in the microwave. And that's actually about 4½ tablespoons of butter is what that is. So half a stick of butter is what you want. And once you've melted that in the microwave, then you're going to add the 4 eggs to it. Obviously, you want to let the butter cool just a little bit first, unless you want scrambled eggs in your biscuits, which you might want that on the side, but probably not in the biscuits. So we're going to 4 eggs. So Simone decided to be safe, guys, and she's going to crack the eggs into a separate bowl to avoid all the shelly mess that might happen.
You never know.
Before we add them to the butter. So Simone's favorite technique is the knife method, where you just bang the damn thing with a knife and hope for the best. Usually works out pretty well for her. Works better than dropping the whole entire carton on the floor.
Don't be like that.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, and 4.
Alright, so 4 large eggs, guys. And then we're going to add that to the butter here in just a second. So now, guys, we're going to combine the eggs and the butter here. And then also we're going to add the sour cream right to the same mixture here. And we're going to do 2 tablespoons. And then we're just going to give that all a stir. Once again, make sure your butter is cool. You don't want to be scrambling your eggs here. And if you have a whisk, feel free to use one. Probably work out a lot better than this spoon is, but sour cream's still stuck on there.
You got one on the thing.
Yeah, that's all right. We don't want to dirty that. All right, and to that, we're just going to add it right to the dry ingredients here. Oh, by the way, if you're a baking snob, they would tell you not to do this. You're supposed to add the dry to the wet, yada, yada, yada. Honestly, it doesn't really matter. All works out the same. You gotta mix it all together anyway, so. Then we're just going to incorporate that all together, as I was just saying. And once you get it somewhat mixed, you want to go ahead and add the stars of the show, which is obviously the cheese and sausage. Can't forget that part, otherwise you just got a biscuit. That's really eggy with some sour cream in it. So, all right, so 2 cups of freshly shredded cheddar right in there. Try to get it all in there. Anything left over, Simone will snack on. And then, of course, we got our sausage, which has been cooling down here.
Andy's meat.
I mean, meat looks kind of small right now, but...
Must be cold in the pool.
Yeah, yeah. Big on flavor, though. Big on flavor. All right. And we'll try to get it all out of the pan here. All right. So once that's all in there, give that another stir so it all incorporates together. And then once you get it mixed in real well and it starts to form a dough, you're actually going to want to put this back in the fridge for about 15 to 20 minutes so it actually gets a little cold, because it's going to be a lot easier to scoop when it's cold than it is when it's mildly warm like it is right now. So as you can see, that's starting to come together now. And almond flour is very absorbent. If you want to use coconut flour, that's even more absorbent, but you will get a little hint of the coconut flavor if you do that. And also you're going to want to use a lot less coconut flour because it is a lot more absorbent than the actual almond flour. If you were going to use coconut flour, you would actually only use 1/3 of a cup in this recipe, whereas the almond flour you're using 1 1/3 cups. So basically 4 times the amount. So there it is. Now you guys can also add some parsley to this if you want a little bit of color, or chives would be fine in there. But once again, the chorizo is really flavorful, so I'm not going to add anything today. All right, we're going to let this cool down for about 15 minutes, and then we're going to scoop it into a muffin tin and get it cooking. Okay, guys, this has been cooling now for about a half an hour. It has firmed up a little bit, so all that's left to do is to scoop them out into a muffin tin. You can use whatever size muffin tin you want. Obviously, if you want some bigger sausage balls, then you would use a bigger muffin tin and a bigger scoop. But we're doing some mini balls today, and we're just going to scoop them right into there. Pretty much 1 scoop per spot here. And we did spray this first just to make sure it didn't stick, although that probably wouldn't be too much of an issue with all the butter and cheese in there and grease from the sausage, but just in case. And remember, guys, these are going to rise up a little bit too, so you don't want to overfill the muffin tins, but just 1 nice level scoop. All right, once we finish this up, we're going to bake this at 350 degrees for about 15 to 20 minutes, depending on how brown up you want them. And then we're going to give them a try. All right, so 15 minutes later, guys. Actually, I think it was about 18 minutes. I reset the timer there for about 3 minutes. So 18 minutes later, guys, and this is the finished product here. Obviously, they are piping hot, so we're not going to try them out here. We're going to let them cool for a couple of minutes, and then we're going to give them a try. But that is what the finished product looks like. They puffed up pretty well, so I think they're going to be delicious. The underside of these, as you can see, they're nicely toasted, and that is pure toasty cheese, about as good as it gets. So we're going to have Pickles come out into the kitchen here and actually give one of these a try for us, and we'll see how I did. Oh, Simone.
Hold on, let me put some clothes on.
Oh, okay. That's right. Simone's in her bathrobe. To be continued. Yes. Apparently she forgot she was going to taste test these. So Simone's going to put clothes on, and then we'll give this a taste test. Okay, she's all dressed. She's all dressed and ready to take your pick.
I'll have a little one.
All right, so here we go.
As good as I remember them. Very good.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Sausage, cheesy.
Very cheesy.
All right, so if you guys...
Crunch.
Yes, they're definitely good crunch. The crunch is where it's at on those. So if you guys are curious, basically one of those is a half a carb a piece. So you can have all kinds of them on a keto diet and not blow the diet. So makes for a great breakfast. We've actually put them in the freezer before, and you can take them right out of the freezer and just pop them into the microwave for about a minute to reheat them, and they come out great. So there we go. Those are keto sausage biscuits, guys, and hope you enjoyed this and hope you enjoy making them. And Drew, I hope you enjoy making them as well. So you are up, buddy.
Ball shaped.
They are. They're like little mini muffin balls. So there you go, Drew. The challenge is on. Make Lisa something good for breakfast. We'll see you later, guys. Until next time, have a
good time.
Good times.